Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to the Hot Topix Podcast with Psycho 4081, the lovely Lady Lamb Chop, and the fabulous Felonious Feather. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to another episode of Hot Topix Podcast. We're here on a special Father's Day Sunday.
Yay, Father's Day!
Yes. So we're gonna go out there and everybody's gonna chip in and send me a Father's Day present.
Mm-hmm. You got your 25 cents.
So we're going to talk about fathers, and we're going to give our fathers their flowers today, and we're going to talk about how fathers impacted our lives and how it is to be a father, which none of you guys
can't talk about that. Yeah.
So, but I guess that'll be my part. So
the level.
And we have our special co-host today. We have
Dimitri Ward.
Hey, Dimitri.
Who is also
Hello,
AKA
everybody.
Dimitrix.
Dimitrix Cinema.
Yes.
Yes, I'm adjusting your mic. We're going to change your name from Felonious Feather to
Felonious.
Felonious Feather to
Micaholic.
Whispering Wilma.
Dad, you couldn't give a Wendy or something new. You had to give a Whiffle. You had to go way back in that stash of names. Old people names.
Yes. Oh, and I did a survey.
Okay.
And we had maybe one or two comments about their fathers from social media. Actually, from social media, I guess it's considered social media, WhatsApp, whatever. Okay, so I will read those as well. And if we have any guests that want to join in, they'll come in. Hopefully they don't come in with some noise. So I get forgetting not to, make sure they come in muted, but we'll see. Anyways. So let's kick this off. Who here is a father? Thank you. Me.
I didn't say that. Say now. I didn't say that. I didn't throw that shade.
I'm not throwing any shade. I'm just saying.
You did good.
All hail me. Come on, let's hear it. It's like Donald Trump on the round table. Come on. Felonious, would you like to say something to me today?
No.
Lamb Chop, would you like to say something to me?
You are a good father. I will
you.
give you that. Your kids love you, and since I met you, you were always doing something with your children.
Thank you.
I would say that. So happy
No,
Father's
I said no.
Day.
Felonious.
I said no. She ain't coming back.
I said
Felonious, kissed the ring.
no. I said no.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so to stop it off, we're going to reflections on fatherhood.
Okay.
Right? So we had some discussion questions, and one of the things is, what does being a father mean to you, or what did it mean to your father? So this question's for everyone.
Yeah, but then what do you mean by what did it mean to your father?
Right.
I can't know what my father is thinking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can speak for your father because you know if you had a relationship with your father, how did it feel? Did he love you guys? Did he put a lot of attention into you? Or did he,
Or what kind of father was your father?
Yeah,
Or is your
that's
father?
kind of better. What kind of father was your father? Yeah.
Because you're a father doesn't mean I'm a father. So, yeah. Let's go.
Why? You want to wear pants?
I wear pants.
You wear panties, not pants.
You
I wear
know
pants.
what is wrong with you today?
It's Father's Day. All hail me.
Oh, so you can say whatever you want? Is that what you're saying? Because it's Father's Day. Dimitri, come on, get in here, get him.
Happy Father's Day, Psycho. Good fathers gravitate to good people.
That's right.
So if you're a good father, great things gravitate around you, and your kids will love you forever.
Aww.
So you're a good father. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was nice. And
Yeah.
you know, he was talking about the great people. He was talking about us.
Us,
You
I know.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Felonious, are you ready yet?
Oh my God! I said something nice to him today. You saw how
I don't
he
remember
how he
it.
changed it to something else.
I don't remember it.
I said something nice to you already today.
Oh yeah,
and
let
then
me,
you had to.
let me read it.
Oh wow! And then he had to switch it around and turn it and become something
from
else.
Felonious. Happy Father's Day. You are my life.
Oh wow!
Without you, I would be nothing.
Oh wow!
I don't believe
And
a
I'm
word.
glad that you're in my life. If not, I would stop breathing today.
Wow!
that was
Thank
good.
God for life support,
That was
and
great,
thank God for
Felonious.
life
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you what a father means to me, and this is just in all honesty, whatever. All right, I remember when I first became a father. That was like the best day of my life. It was like the very best day of my life. To the point where I remember with my son. My son's the oldest, and I went out there and I opened all types of bank accounts.
Wow.
So I wanted to give him a good start.
Oh, you opened bank accounts for him.
For him. For
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
for him.
How did that work out?
That's it. Well, he got more money than I do. So,
Most of them do.
so yeah, but I you know, I had memorized his social security
Oh,
number,
my
the whole nine.
gosh.
So as a matter of fact, even I had stopped working in like my little side business, my part time. I was like, I need to spend some time with my son. I got to be here. Da 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 da. So it was a long time coming because I had some near misses in the past, and that was something that was important for me, and it was like my opportunity to actually do the things that I thought fathers should do, and the things that I didn't get from my father. So we do as parents, we try to get
Yep.
our kids, whatever.
What you didn't get?
Yeah. And as far as my father goes, we'll say our father, because for you guys that don't know, Dimitri and I are brothers. So,
Two P's. No, I won't even say that because he is so much different than you are.
yes, he does need to tone it down a little bit.
Don't take that from him.
We're actually similar in a lot of ways that you guys just don't even know.
Okay, thank you for not letting us know. Yes, thank you. I don't want to know. Mm-mm.
But yeah, our father was a little bit different, because he I don't know if you knew, but he didn't grow up with his father. His father
Your
passed away.
grandfather wasn't.
Yeah, my
Okay.
his father passed away when he was an infant.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he never really knew his father, but he had a father figure in his life, which was his maternal grandfather.
Okay.
Told him how to fish, cook, make wine, all that type of stuff. So if you would have asked him today, who was the influence in your life, he would have said, my grandfather was John Martin, from Philly, but yeah, but I think he liked being a father because it was more or less of more of a feather in your cap, I don't think he learned about the traditional father. It's not what he saw.
Okay.
Okay. But he tried to do whatever he knew, take us fishing and crabbing and give us little advice, some funny advice, even when we were older, which I would not say today.
Advice.
Yeah. So.
Some inappropriate advice.
I know, right?
That's another story for another day.
Yeah. But so since we'll start with you
Okay.
because
What?
you're on my right.
So I have to tell you, like, to this day, my father would say to me, you're my life, sweetheart. He calls me sweetheart. You're my life, sweetheart. That is it. Like, I'm in the top of the game for him.
Okay.
But we weren't really close with me growing up. Like, he was in and out a lot with me growing up. But we're better now. We're mellowed into our relationship, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I can say that he gave me some advice. At the time, I was like, what is this old man talking about? But now I look at him like, oh, that's what he was talking about. And it makes sense now. But, like, he used to tell me little stuff like, don't let your husband bring any car in that house you can't drive. Like, what are you talking about? That don't even make sense. But if you got to get away at any given moment, or if you got to drive the car, and if whatever's happening, and you got to be the person to drive the car, if you can't drive it, then y'all might be in trouble. Okay. So in my head at the time, I was like, what is he talking about? This doesn't even make any sense. But as an adult, you're just like, oh, okay. Now I know. Now I know. So he always would drop these little tidbits along the way that didn't make sense. But as an adult, it makes all the sense in the world. It makes all the sense in the world. So he is a very knowledgeable man. And the older he gets, the more information I feel like I'm getting from him. And I wish I had that growing up, a little bit longer. So, I'm older, he's older. So it's just like, I don't know how many years we got left.
How old is your dad?
75. That is a guess, because ever since he would talk about age, he's been 35. And, at one point when I was 40, I said, you can't be 35 anymore. I'm 40 now, so you can't be 35. So I'm gonna say 70. I think it's 78 to be 100% honest, because I think him and my aunt are close to the same age. So I'm gonna say 78, somewhere in there. And every time I ask them or try to find a birth certificate, I can't. So I really don't know what the actual year is that he was born. So really? Yeah. I was like, Daddy, what's and I tried to find my birth certificate, because sometimes they'll put the father's age on your birth certificate, and it's not on there. And I was like, how did they get away with that? Like, how did they? But it was 100 years ago, so they did things differently.
Well, that might have been one day. They had a war back in the Philippines.
See,
what was it?
You just have to.
He had to. Oh my God, he had to. So in my older age, I think he's making up for the time we didn't spend when I was younger. So and he never treated me like a girl. I like that. Like, he never treated me like a girl. I'm a only for him. Okay. I'm the only. Yeah, I'm the only child that he's had. Okay. And he taught me how to shoot. He would take me to the driving range. He was a Air Force pilot, so we would see planes like do what is that, the Blue Angels? Mm-hmm. He would take me to see the Blue Angels. So I never felt like I was being treated like a girl. Right. Which I liked, because sons get a lot of stuff that the girls don't get. And I thought that was kind of neat. Like? So, happy Father's Day, Pops. What you mean, like? I just said that. Right. Mm-hmm. Like what?
She literally just listed stuff that they did together.
No, okay. I always, figured girls and guys daughters got all the same thing.
No.
But you know what?
Did you give your son and daughter, you treated them the same? Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. I guarantee you probably didn't threaten like any girlfriend of Junior's.
You know what? Any kind of
like my son.
Any kind of advice that you get that you got back in the day, it always come knowledgeable and more of a better understanding once you get older. That's true. That's what anybody I noticed that about.
Yeah. That is true. Like, some of the stuff he would say, like, that don't make a bit of sense. Like, but now it does. So, you're right.
What about you?
You who? Please identify the person you're speaking to.
the other male that's voice is about to pop up on here, Dimitri.
So, my father, our father,
who art.
Stop it.
He gave me a lot of knowledge, but it was his way of knowledgeable things to give your son. And but I took it in, a lot of stuff, like I said, I realize now what he was talking about, like kind of like you. So, but he also gave me like tips on don't bump certain curves that you don't have to bump. You know what I mean? Like,
explain that.
Because I'm thinking female.
Like,
in my head.
Yeah.
Bumping female, bumping curves.
Like, he was telling me, keep a good job.
Okay.
Right. Don't go going through the situation where you jumping from job to job.
Oh, okay. So don't create
unless you leaving one
yourself.
Small job to go get a bigger job. Right. And of course women.
Yeah, I've heard some of his advice on women.
Yeah, we want to talk about that. What's the best advice later after Felonious tells us her glorious story?
Well, you finished, Dimitri.
Did your father tell you about a birdie jumping in the tree.
I have no. My father was a bird.
Your father was a bird.
I hate you guys. Sometimes I swear, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Hate is a strong word. I take that back. Y'all get on my nerves.
He's giving me his way of his knowledge, and the knowledge from a father to a son. You know what I mean? Ain't no father perfect.
Right.
But he's giving me like
man to man.
Man to man. He's told me he's always, one of the big things he said was he want all his kids to be together. And that was one of the things that stuck with me.
Right.
So, but yeah, he's done his deeds.
Okay.
That was very polite. He's done his deeds.
Well, in this episode, we're gonna lay everything on the line. That's right.
Whatever.
All right. Tell us about Timothy.
Timothy, is that his real name, or are you being shiesty? Because you know how you are.
Because he knows my government name and my everything. So now
okay,
the whole world has to know as well.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. You never know with him sometimes.
Because he's capable of making stuff up and just give me some random father name. But he's right. It's correct. Well, for me, I grew up in an African home. So, your parents are more like, I think until we got older, did we have like a real relationship with parents? Because it was more like people you feared.
Okay.
Kind of. So, for me, I'm the only girl in my family. For both parents, I'm the only girl. So, and girls tend to be closer to their or be daddy's favorite. So, I was dad's favorite. I'm still dad's favorite, but it was just like from far, giving me stuff that I needed, money, clothes. My daddy used to say he lived in London. So he used to send clothes to me, send money, and he'd be like, all this money I'm giving you is because so that no man can lie to you. And then you think money is important because it's not, So if your father can give you this.
Didn't learn that lesson.
If your father can give you this, so nobody can come and lie to you and be like, okay, I'm going to give you this and that. So yes, that was a good one from him. And he paid my school fees and did everything. But he didn't live with us. So I didn't really have so I can't really tell you stories about my dad.
So your father, from this perspective, is more or less, he looked at, he's going to be a provider, make sure that you had,
yes, everything. Okay. Yes.
Right.
So that was
even
the
if he
relationship.
couldn't be there.
Yes. So that was the relationship we had until I had kids and all of that. So he also got older. He's going to be 76 in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks now. So I'm all he has right now.
Gotcha.
The boys, but then of course you tend to look towards your daughter, and then we talk more. My dad is like this typical African man that he will not call you because it's your right to call him.
Really?
Yeah, he's your right. Like he's an old man, so you have
you're
obligated
to
sorry, to call him. Like he's your father. He's old. He's okay. If you don't hear from me, you have to call me. You have to. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. Like, we're busy, but he doesn't really get that concept. Like, okay, my kids are busy. They could be busy, blah, blah, blah. No, but you have to call him. You have to. If I call my dad now and he misses my call, he expects me to call back.
So he won't return your call if he see like, oh yeah, she called.
No. And then he'll tell you maybe when you get mad, and then you eventually call him like, okay, because you're old, let me call you back. He'll be like, yeah, you called me the other day and you didn't call me back.
What's his nickname for you?
I don't have a nickname.
Oh, really?
No. We don't do stuff like that in Africa. So, but then things have evolved. Things have gotten better. Fathers have changed. But I think it depends on personality. My daddy, I wouldn't say he's strict, but he's not. He wasn't that kind of father where
he's a traditionalist.
Yes, where you want to. Who teaches you how to ride a bike, or who, you know what I'm saying? No, he was more of, my kids have to go to good schools, do this, what you need to do to make them comfortable. Gotcha. That's the kind of father he was. But now that he's older, we kind of gist, we talk about stuff. He tells me about women. and stuff, like everything in his life. Like we talk about everything, you know. So he tells me everything going on with him. So it's kind of, our relationship has evolved. So he keeps me in the loop of everything happening with him. He called me like a couple of days ago, and I'm like, it's like, I've not heard from you in a while, and it was weird. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a miracle. He called. And he's my only surviving parent now, the only parent I have right now. So yep,
me too.
He's like my everything right now. So yeah. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Even though you should not see this, don't watch any of this.
Yes, we want to make sure we get you this.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
No, go back to Lamb Chop, because you mentioned the lesson he gave you. Is that one of the most important lessons that he gave you, or you have any others?
I think the most important lesson he gave me was a couple. Learn about your heritage, because he is very big on African American history. So learn about your heritage, and he taught me a lot of things about that, and to be independent. You know, learn for yourself, question things. And like you said, you know, he provided things for me so I wouldn't have to look for it from somebody else. Okay. So, you know, and, you know, he taught me how to be an independent woman. Okay. And I also looked at his relationship with his wife. That was a long, loving, kind relationship. And that was a good way to pick a husband, I think. Okay.
And your father was black.
My father is black. And I figured I don't know why this took me like 60 years to figure this out. He was 19 when he had me. I'm 61, so he's going to be 80 in a few days. Like, why did that take me 100 years to figure that out? So he's going to be 80 on the 17th. Oh. It's coming up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's a milestone.
I was going to
He was going to say something sideways.
No, he was an Air Force pilot. I never knew that. You never mentioned that.
Really?
Yeah.
No, he had a lot of jobs. He's an Air Force pilot. He was a firefighter. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, I ain't going to do this job long because everything running out of that building. And we running in. He's like, the rats, the roaches, everything is coming out and we going in. So he did that for a little while. And he also worked for the city for a little while. So he was a man of many talents. He is a man of many talents. So, yeah.
What, Felonious, what was the most important lesson you've learned from your father? And don't say the money thing.
Everybody likes money. Yeah. Right now, he's closer to God. So it's like, just God first in everything you do. Just put God first. Nothing else, just God, 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 God. And to remind me that whatever good thing happens to me in life, whatever good luck I have or whatever good happens to me is his good luck. My dad's good.
He passed it on to you. It's because of him you have good luck.
Exactly so. Yeah. I get constant reminders of that.
That is too cute.
So yeah. So just be prayerful. Hold on to God. That's it.
Okay. That's a good lesson. Mm-hmm. So, Dimitri.
What? Y'all. I wish y'all did. I wish.
This is why we can't do video.
This is exactly why we can't do video.
What's an important? You mentioned something earlier, you know, but what stands out as the most important lesson you learned from your father?
Use condoms at all costs.
Oh my God!
No. I mean, that was one of them.
Why do I want to believe that?
One of the
that is
because obviously he was so good at it. Mr. 6 kids.
6 is not a lot.
Oh my God, 6 is a lot.
One of the most important things that to stand out that my father taught, you know, advice that he gave me was like I said, you know, keep a good job. Mm. You know, that was one of the big things he kept drilling in me is like, if you once you get a hold and never be satisfied, even if it is a good job. Always he kept telling me, you know, because he was a mailman, and he was saying don't always stay content, you know, just always go for higher jobs or whatever.
Did you take the advice though?
Huh?
Did you take the advice?
Yeah, I started selling paydays in the store. So I was pretty content with that.
Y'all two are a mess.
But I took his advice. I
In the negative.
I took his advice in the end because I was stubborn, sticking with one hotel job, for a long time. Till I had people who had to drag me out of that. But I took his advice at the sort of towards later
years.
Yeah,
because it takes us a while to really figure out that they knew what they were talking about. So it takes you into your adulthood to be like, oh yeah, they were right.
Right.
How about you, Psycho?
Yeah, you next. Don't even try to slip away.
Well, my father and I, we talked a lot, and we talked about crazy stuff like aliens.
Okay.
That's where you get that from.
Aliens, and talked about why the cost of greens go up.
Is that something that you would have a full-on conversation about?
Yes.
I've seen these two have the craziest conversations.
Okay.
His thing was be a man. That's what his thing was.
Now, did he define what that meant, or would just be like stand up, be a man?
No, he said be a man. And I guess I was supposed to know, be a man it was. He also, he would drop little dimes here and there. He was like, oh, watch out for them Puerto Ricans. They carry switchblades.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're repeating that.
I would say, I tell you this, it was little things that he used to say, or
that's him.
Or, and I told you that the biggest advice he gave me was if you want something, if you want that girl over there, you look her straight in the eyes.
Why you gotta look this way?
I probably should have did a trigger warning on this show. I probably should have.
So what I got out of that is just be direct. Is that better?
Yes.
Be direct.
You cleaned that up well. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
But that was him. If he said something else, I wouldn't believe it was him. So that's about as original as you get from my father.
So was that the best advice he gave you?
That's the only one he remembers. Because it suits his ways, So yeah, I gotcha. Oh my God.
It's funny because it's true.
Well, most of the stuff that I got from him was little bit things here and there. Especially when it came to cooking. Like he would tell you, certain things when it comes to cooking, like, do this, do that. And, he would tell you things that happened in the past or why, like he says, well, why he never took me with him to go hunting or whatever. He told me this. He said, because he was always afraid I was going to let the animals out. Because
that's what you
probably would have to.
Why? Because you cared so much for him?
Yeah.
I like the animals. He's like, I wouldn't, because you would scare him away, or you would let him go.
No, I know, right?
Yes. But these things. This is things I learned as an adult.
Okay.
Later on in life, he gets up. Especially, he got his little pint with him. And everything starts. He gets honest and he says everything.
Right.
So.
Well, they say drunk people in leggings don't lie.
Yeah. Now, my father he's a really funny guy. Like, really funny. I can go for like thousands of stories of funny things. And like I said, if he start, hitting the bottom, it was amped up.
Yeah, was he the one that made the wine?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So would we all agree that fathers are under celebrated, are under appreciated? Because today, I'm sure when you guys went to get the food, was it packed?
No.
No, it was not.
Wait,
so
you said when
we went to go get food earlier,
It was a
packed,
restaurant
packed. Did they have like on Mother's Day where the radios, everybody they start talking about Mother's Day from like forever? You don't even hear anything about Father's Day. Why do we think this is so?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Going back to what you and I was talking about earlier, in the same note, she's like, well, are you going to make a reservations? And I gave her a look like, reservations? Nobody makes reservations on Father's Day because you can just walk right in. And it's so funny because when I used to work in a restaurant, Mother's Day, I mean, I would take my, my wife or, my mother, or whoever out, it's packed. You got to, one time I had to bribe the hostess to get up a little bit earlier. But, then you go on Father's Day, you walk right in. Yeah. And get your so I mean that's how it is, because I think a lot of times people expect fathers to be, that person you just depend on if you can. But I tell you the one thing, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, I think, about the differences on how people see fathers and mothers. Mothers are everything. So and it's treated that way. You know who your mom is. You might know who your dad is, but mothers are nurturers. And not saying the dads can. I think I'm a nurturer for my kids too. I would say that, yeah. But I think that's when that nurturing actually gets you more motivated to do things, to protect and to, serve. Get it? Protect and serve.
Yeah, I get it. I was trying to let it go by. I really was.
Yeah. But yeah, dads are not really valued as much as women, because in our society, I think mainly
in every society,
they're treated differently. I'm not saying they're not you know how you can have two kids, and you got the one kid that's really, really smart, and you have one kid that's very, very athletic. You treat them differently because you value them for different things. So let's say in your culture, the father's supposed to be that strong man that that keeps everything going, the provider, the protector, this and that, whatever. Whereas the wife or the mother is something different. You still value them the same, but it's just different.
But they bring different things.
Yeah. But here, in our society, where we have a lot of households, broken households, and absentee fathers, and tons of single mothers and stuff like that, overall, that's why I think that we don't put as much value into that.
So for what you said, I'll take it back there. So for us as well, I saw this, my dad shared something with me. It was this lady saying like, why don't they appreciate their fathers as much, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to pick your mom from her husband's place, that's your dad's place, and going to take her to live with you, either to say, oh, you want her to take care of your kids, or she's not feeling good, or whatever, and then you leave your dad behind, which makes him older and he doesn't have the kind of care he needs. But you're taking your mom in to care for, like, your mom care for your kids, take them abroad, bring them here, bring them
take them to the bird.
Why
I just had to, it just came back to my head. What's that? Okay, take them out of the country. It's usually the mothers that get those treatments, right? Like, because your mother is useful, but your father, you have to. No. I'm just saying. I'm giving an example. I'm just saying, like, so if, take for example, I live here and I have kids, I'm not going to bring my dad to watch my dad's going to be like another child I'm going to take care of. You get what I'm trying to say? Because
right.
you would expect me to cook, to clean, to do the, but if I bring my mom, she's going to watch the kids. She's going to make dishes before I get home. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So sometimes it could be that, it could be because your mother is, I know, now I thought about it, like, fathers also deserve to be celebrated, because a lot of fathers, yes, we have deadbeat dads and all of that, but we have fathers that go above and beyond for their kids. That even in a situation where they're not together with the mom, they still go above and beyond. They still try their best for their kids. You know. So it's not. So I'm not saying it's not an American thing. It's not an American society thing. It's something that is a general thing everywhere. And I feel like people should really, really start looking at it in a different way or perspective, because, like the thing I shared with you, if your mother could have not been in the mood,
Now you gotta say what it was because people aren't gonna understand. So now you gotta say what it was.
Because I want him to say, not me.
It's all lies. It's lies.
Oh, you gotta explain it.
I think, let me see.
It's lies.
But it's true.
yeah.
I agree. What you mean?
No.
Yes, it's true.
My thing about it, I think
I
it's
agree with it.
I think it's a lot with women are valued a lot more than men. I hate to say it like that, but it's like your mother, like your father. If you go with your mother and your mother, the boys, mommy's boy, mommy, like we love the girls' his father, but it's like your mother is like you came out the womb of a woman, so it's like she did the carrying, and like Brian, I mean like Psycho went back. It's a lot of single mothers out there that end up with the kids doing the carrying, and a lot of deadbeat fathers that when you see the mothers on welfare, and it's always the mother carrying it with their kids. They take them, the mother's the strong point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's a value in the women mothering more than the fathers because of certain things like that.
So you saying society in general uphold women more than men?
No,
I don't know if I want to put it like that, but
I would agree with that because I think women.
That's what I was saying.
I think women aren't held to a higher standard. Well, not a higher standard, but they honor, that pedestal, whatever.
In society,
in society, except our mothers. When I say our mothers, I'm talking about our individual mothers. So we as sons and daughters, we'll put our mother above and beyond, and we've had conversations about that. When we talk about the serial killer.
Yeah.
What would you do if your mom's a serial killer?
Yes.
I know what you would do.
But it's if you look at it, it's a higher rate of mother value and
than
their fathers. Now you got some kids that were closer with their fathers than their mothers, and their mothers the downbeat in their lives or whatever. So you do have that out there,
but that's rare.
But the most common thing, like Valonius said, is like the mother is like, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's a lot of the single mothers that was out there, that's out there, and then you got the sons that see that. I seen Ray Lewis. Here's a good example. Ray Lewis gave a speech, and he was kind of like, I told my mother, you will never have to struggle again. Once I made it, you got a lot of it's that kind of respect, it's that kind of honor to your mother. It's kind of like that makes it higher. You know what I mean?
And
just
a
little higher.
And it does. It always goes back to when we're younger. Talk about in the example that you gave. When we were younger, we struggle. It was usually mom and the kids or whatever. And first thing you say, what? I'm never going to let my mom struggle. And people they get rich and famous. Whatever. The first thing they do is what?
Buy their mom something.
Buy their mom a house,
a car, something. Mom get something.
Exactly. But what I don't like, and it's kind of shifting a little bit, but what I don't like is that, all right, this is Father's Day. And we had Mother's Day. Mother's Day, you see everything on social media, how great moms are, this and that, whatever, and we all appreciate that. There's no doubt about that. But what we don't see is to all the worthy mothers out there, or so on Father's Day, it's always to all the real fathers out there and mothers doing the father's job. And I'm like, hold up. Why do you always have to put a condition on that for Father's Day? And then say, to them, or even mothers, some mothers will say, Happy Father's Day to me. I'm like, no, you're not a father. Right. You could be a great mother, an extraordinary mother, but you'll never be able to be a father. Right. That's just, and even with a son, and it's usually because they, boy moms or whatever.
Right.
But they'll say, and I would tell them, I said, well, son is going to learn from his father or a father figure.
Right.
Whether it be real or perceived. So, growing up, you might say, well, I didn't have a father in my household. Then there's a neighbor that you look at and say, okay, I like what he's doing, and that's what he should do. Or uncle, or guess what? A TV father.
Yeah.
So you're going to learn something or pick up something, but you're not going to say, okay, well, my mom's, this, and that, whatever. So that's how I want to be. You may take some things, but you're saying the mom is this, and this because she's a great mom or a great person, not because she's a great father.
Right.
You know, and that's what a lot of people. That sets a lot of guys off. Thank you to all the real dads out there.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
okay. And there's a lot of single fathers out there that don't get the
Yes.
credit that they deserve, and it's unfair to them. It should be you should be getting the same amount of credit that single moms get.
Do you think they saying that though because of a lot of the guys get these women pregnant? And then boom, leave.
Yeah,
and then they stuck with the kids and raise the kids. You think
That's exactly why they say it.
why.
Right.
And it's usually only that person who's had that situation who's posting that thing that way. So
and again, I understand that, but you're never going to be a father. You could be a great mother.
Right.
You're never I could say, well, I can do everything that my child's mother could do. I could do all that. But I'm not a mother.
Right.
You know, there's certain things that you just cannot do.
Right.
You're not going to, if I have a daughter, which I do, she's not going to look at me and say, oh, I'm going to be a good woman like my dad. There's certain things that just by your biology, you're not going to understand.
Yeah. I'll give you one example. So my daughter had an issue in school. She had stomach pain and whatever. And we have this family group. Me, herself, her dad, and then she was texting in it and like, I have stomach pain. I need to go home, but I was at work. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't looking at the text. And she's like, I need to go home, and dad was like, "What's going on?" I said, "My stomach." And then she's like, "Where's mommy?" Like, where's mommy? Like she'll know what to do. She'll understand,
Right.
So and I saw that. So he sent me the message, like, see what she said, like, where's mommy? Because I would know what to do.
Exactly.
So another example would be when my mom, when I finished secondary school, which is high school, and I got admission into the university, but I wanted to go to the UK, London, to further my studies. Mm-hmm. So I didn't take the admission for the first year. I didn't defer. I didn't do nothing. I just left it. But then the UK, it didn't work out again. They had so many requirements. I wasn't ready to go through all of that.
Ooh, they missed a great pottery maker.
Whatever. So
special.
So yeah. So it was like, oh my God, I missed out already on this admission. What would I do? My mom went with me to the school. My mom was literally kneeling down crying. Oh my God. Like she was crying and begging. And she's like, oh, because I lost my job. We couldn't afford the school fees. We couldn't afford this. Please, please, please. Be all the begging and all the crying. They said, you know what? Okay, yeah, we'll say she defied. You know what I'm saying? My dad would never do that.
Right.
Never.
Because dads have to be that object or that image of strength.
Yeah. So stuff like that. You see your mom being emotional, doing stuff for you, going out of her way.
Right.
That's how she can as a woman, that's how you can express yourself. Doesn't mean she's better or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But bringing you out of her, and you're like a part of her already, so it's just the love and concern and whatever that she shows,
right,
that makes it feel like she's better or greater than the dad.
The mother's the nurturing, the father is the
provider.
muscle, is the provider.
So they don't think providing is such a big deal. I think they don't.
Until you go without.
But guess what? The mother's gonna look for every way, or
that
every
is true.
means
That is
to
true.
make sure. Yeah, so that's it.
I think dads do that too, and they don't get the credit. For
so
doing
yes,
that,
they do have people like him. I won't take that from you. You psycho 4081.
Also,
gonna make you say that.
Also, the mother can't teach the boy to be a man.
Right.
True.
The father,
yes,
teach him to be the man.
What do we know
about being a man?
Yes.
Right.
So
there are some great dads out there that do even what a woman can do, like you said. Like, take care of them, make food,
complain,
do everything. Oh, men complain, whatever you say.
Complain.
What is wrong with you?
But then they just don't get enough credit. So I feel like we should appreciate our men more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, they do a lot. It's not easy to pay the bills.
Right.
Pay the bills, making sure that you have a roof over your head, the light bill is paid, everything is paid.
Yeah.
Hell, if I see roach or whatever in my house, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna wait for the man.
I'm gonna go grab the man.
Of course. So I appreciate that. I can't even
always do that.
In my apartment, one time we had a mouse. The mouse got caught in the glue. I couldn't take it outside. I had to wait because I'm not gonna do that. I can't. So there are things that I don't take for granted, that no, I can never do.
I'm not mad.
I can.
I get it 100%.
You know what's this reminds me of Lamb Chop? Boys in the Hood when Ferris and Angela Bassett had that conversation, and then she goes, "Now I'll give you that. You've been a man. You taught him how to be a man. But mothers have been around since the beginning of time. You can't tell me I can't be a mother to my son.
Right.
It's like the battle.
Right.
You know
so
what I mean?
She said mother's been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
When it was hatching from eggs.
Whatever.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Okay, that's another podcast for another day.
I'm just saying,
I knew you.
But
was
it was pretty strong because of the fact that he was telling her,
right.
He's a man. He got his own, got a job. Why are you buying him? Because she bought him shoes. Why are you buying him stuff? Why he has a job, whatever. She goes, don't tell me how to be a mother to my son.
Right.
You might have raised him and taught him how to be a man. I give you that. But
she's still a
mother's been
right.
around
She's
since the beginning of time. Yeah, exactly.
She's still his mother. That's
so
right.
yeah, so it's a clear understanding of nurturing and being raising your son to be a man. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's a habit you picked up from your father, or tradition? No, I'm gonna tell you what's funny about that. I said a habit, which I noticed a lot of us, like me and my brothers and sisters, we have those habits that we picked up from our father.
Oh God.
And
he is over here dying laughing.
Even if we didn't live with them.
Okay. Okay.
So I think I was leading up to saying I think a lot of things are genetic.
Okay.
Because there's no way we can pick up certain things that
and y'all
we never
didn't live together. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Right.
funny. Like what?
Well,
I'm scared to say.
No, just like earlier, like he was telling you about coffee or cappuccino,
right.
So that's my father. He's using his hands to show you how to stir. That's my father.
Okay.
And that's what he did. He did that with everything,
and you do that too.
I do.
When you're talking and explaining stuff, you use your hands.
I do. Okay.
Are you asking?
She said, "Are you asking?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psycho picked up a lot of traits from my father.
He got a lot.
He got a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, do you have to demonstrate?
But that's different. That's different because I'm telling the story.
But you do that all the time.
You said your dad did that. So
Yeah,
you
I saw his dad in a picture. Was it a picture or video?
Okay, your video.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, this is you. Because he was also he was doing this. I'm like, wow.
Oh, he was doing that in the video?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. That is too funny.
What,
like,
explaining something?
Yeah, and just uses his hands. Yeah. Like he cannot sit still while talking to you or explaining.
Yeah, he
stuff.
can't. He definitely can't sit still.
When I go from here, I know. You don't have to show me. I know.
Well, no, I do it because sometimes people don't understand English, so I
do it.
I gotta
No,
demonstrate.
I do it.
Yes.
Get the action in there.
I'm gonna tell you one of the things I picked up from my father, and I didn't realize that that's where I got it from. I always have a bell on my door. There's always a bell on the main entrance of my house.
Like a doorbell?
No, like a jingles.
Okay.
Like something that makes
like when
noise.
it opens.
Mm-hmm. It's on the handle. It's on the door. So if you touch the door handle, the bell is gonna ring. Didn't realize that that's where I picked it up from. And I went to his house, his apartment when he was sick, and I was cleaning his apartment, and I saw the hanging bells on the door, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's where I got that from."
So what did the
significance is when my kids would try to sneak out,
okay,
I would hear the bells.
Okay.
And for him, he's just like, if somebody trying to get in, you're gonna hear those bells.
Right.
And I've always had a thing of bells on my door. Always.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask all three of you. First with you, Lamb Chop. What do you love about your dad?
Oh my God, I think he's so smart. Yeah, I think he's smart. I think he's stylish. He has always been a very stylish man. Like, he would buy Italian shoes before we knew that was a thing. But that came from him traveling the world, being in the Air Force and stuff. So I think he's smart. I think he's very stylish, and he is funny. It takes you a minute to get it, but he is funny, and he does not take shit from anybody. Okay, and I think that's a good thing.
How about you, Psycho?
Why you gotta go to me next?
Because you on the right. Ain't that
exactly. Thank you.
All right. Now you said what do I
love?
All right. So I'm gonna
besides the crazy advice.
No. I'm gonna tell you.
And the wine making.
I'm gonna tell you because my father. What I love about him, he has a great sense of humor. Like he can find humor in anything, even when he shouldn't.
You tend to laugh at some inappropriate moments.
Exactly.
So that's what he I really liked about him, and he was definitely never mean spirited. I don't care. The one time that I ever see my father angry, like angry, outside of him, explaining something, is that when I was little, he used to take me to this bar.
Oh my God. Little, how little?
Like maybe 7. He used to take me to this bar.
Part of the year.
It was the neighborhood bar. Moses Bar back in the day. Everybody know about Moses Bar. But anyway, he used to take me to the bar, right? And he would, whatever. And I would, he would give me Coca-Colas.
Okay. Good. Well, that's good.
Yeah. No, I didn't drink.
Okay. That's
Except
good.
when we was in the back of the pickup truck, and he used to handle beers back to me and my other 2 brothers. But anyway, so the one time that he was angry was I was playing this video game, and this one I ended or whatever, and this one guy go up there and laughed and kind of basically took me off the thing. And my father was livid. I saw it in his face. He said, "Well, you finished?" I was like, "Yes, I'm finished."
But you weren't.
Because I didn't want,
Right.
But I saw that and I had never seen that before. I was like, "Oh my God, is he gonna kill him? What was he gonna do?" But yeah, he was always he was very friendly to everybody.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Even so, the funny part about even if he had he had some biased ways, he would say, I'll tell you, we said, watch them Puerto Ricans, they got switchblades, or the cost of greens is going up because of the Jews, and he always had stuff like that.
Everybody has to blame for something.
But he loved everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he never said anything out of being mean spirited. And he treated everybody. I said everybody. He treated everybody nice and kind. That's what I loved about him. And he was a very good outdoorsman. He liked adventure. And we could always talk about our days in the Navy and stuff like that, and all his crazy stories and whatever. I definitely enjoyed those because.
Okay.
All right. How about you, The Matrix Cinema?
First, I'm gonna say one of the things I think that I picked up, because I didn't get my part on that one. One of the things I think I picked up from him was funny storytelling. Okay. Because everybody always tell me the stories I had, happened to me in my life is really funny. They tell you're a great storyteller. And then the 2 things I loved about him was his cooking.
Oh yeah.
He was the best cook I ever seen in my physical eyes.
Yeah.
Ever. Like no chef, no anything could match what I.
So was he a trained cook? Or?
No, he just
liked to cook.
Yeah, he could have been a top chef.
Okay,
that's how good he was.
And the thing along with what he was saying as far as a cook, he can cook anything. Like if a dog got hit on the street.
And if you stir fried it,
I'm like he could make a meal and good. And I could tell you stories about that too. The raccoon, the turtle,
Let him enjoy his story. He's saying his story.
But the other thing I liked about him, he kind of touched bases on it, is he was funny. He you could be mad, and I swear to you, you go up to him and start talking to him, and you could be telling about what happened or whatever, and he will find a way to make it funny. You'll be like, damn, I'm laughing at this shit. It's kind of like he had. I don't know how he's able to do that, but he said, some things you wouldn't think should be funny. He made it funny. So that was 2 traits I loved about him, was his cooking and able to just make you laugh.
Oh, that's good.
No matter what the time was,
that's great.
Or whatever. So,
all right, Polonius.
All right, let's hear about Timothy.
Guy has a death wish. I'm gonna kill you. Well, for me, I would say my dad is
a bird.
It's very it's very blunt to a fault. Very, very blunt. It could come off as, it depends on who he's telling. When you're not at the end of when you're not at the receiving end.
This really, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good, it's fun, you can laugh.
Right. But if he's talking to you,
you don't want to be that person, because he'll tell you as it, like, there's some things that don't say. You can't say that to somebody. He's gonna say it, you know?
Right.
It's just something. But then I think as he has grown older, he has learned to be cautious, to know, okay, I'm not gonna say this. I'm just gonna keep it in. Before
a while a little bit.
Yes, before he used to just say, and I love the fact that he's not stingy. He's a very giving dad. Yeah, he's a very proud dad.
Yeah,
my daddy would never ask you for a dime.
Oh,
never,
nice.
ever ask you.
And
for
that's a cultural thing, right?
I don't know. Because if you're lacking somewhere, you should be able to ask your kids, like, hey, I need. So he feels like you should know.
How like, are you gonna know if you don't? If
you should know. It's your right. You should know. You should know your father is not okay. You should know. You should be sensitive. You should understand. You know, that's how it is for him.
Right.
I don't blame. That's the kind of person he is. Like, you should know.
Gotcha.
That I can't come and ask you. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, Dad, you know, my brothers live with you in London. You can go to their house. No, I'm not gonna go. If they don't ask me, shouldn't they know they have a father and their father should, you know, that's so to me sometimes it's funny, but that's the person he is, that he has his principles. Like, he should not ask you for stuff. You should know that it is your duty, it's your right to do stuff for him as a father. You shouldn't come and beg you or ask you. He's making his money, he's cool, but then you should think, so stuff like, he feels like, okay, if I say, I'm going on vacation now, I want to travel, you should know that, okay, my dad's going to travel. Okay, I should send him some money.
Okay.
No, hey, I'm going to travel. Will you send me? No, he would never say that. He would.
Okay.
So he's proud.
Gotcha.
He's also a proud. He's a proud man.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he has his ways, but yeah.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Well, and we all have different perspectives and views of our father. You know, obviously from the conversation here. So like, if when I mentioned that when a son is going to learn from a father, whether it be real or fake. So how does TV or the media portray fathers today?
Are they on TV? Can you think of
James Evans Sr.?
Okay. Are they currently on TV? Well, they got reruns. But, you know, that's hard to say because I don't think I watch anything currently right now that there's a black father in the house.
There's no father. Well, I'm trying to think. I can't recall any either. All right, so I'm gonna tell you who was a good father that you can, not necessarily have to be a black person, but I thought Tywin Lannister was a good father.
I thought he was going to say Al Bundy.
But then in his own way, though. In his own twisted way. He was looking out for his clan, his family.
His family.
Yeah.
He said, your family's everything. And even when he didn't like his other, his Tyrion.
Yeah, he
was
did
like,
not.
You're a Lannister.
Exactly.
Right.
Still,
right.
Are you talking about
Game of
Thrones?
Recent shows of
he's
the
just
good
father,
father, like the good male father or whatever?
Yeah, any recent or old.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, old. I want to say Bill Cosby.
I was going to say
that.
The Cosby Huxtable.
Yeah.
I want to also say Uncle Phil.
Oh, I forgot about Uncle Phil.
And Carl Winslow. Family Matters. They were positive
father figures.
Black role models. That's what you want your father, to be or whatever.
Not James Evans Sr.?
I like James, but everybody didn't like James.
Yeah,
I like James.
I was about to say James from Good Time.
Yeah, I like James.
He's actually the original.
Yeah, I think he was the best father, to be honest.
I liked him.
But other than that, if you say, me and my cousin disagreed with this because we brought this up the other day. I said the most recent would be My Wife and Kids.
I love that.
Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
But my cousin had said he was like, I don't know if I want to say that because I don't like the way he talked to his son. That's not a good.
Yeah, he does call his son stupid a lot.
Yeah, that's not a good. And I'm like, that's just his personality. He was like, yeah, but you don't want to do that as a positive male figure.
Yeah, but it's still times when he is
right.
loving to his son.
Exactly.
You know, there's still times in that show where he shows love and kindness to his son. So
right, and my cousin was like, if you say that, if you say him, you might as well use what's his name?
Fred Sanford and Lamont?
No, King of the Hill. It's like, Bobby, if you weren't stupid, I'd hug you.
Yeah.
He said you might as well use him if you're gonna do that because the way he talks to his son.
It is some bad Al Bundy dads out there. So yeah,
but you would say that they're still portrayed accurately because you have extremes. You have the really good fathers, you have the stern fathers, you got the nurturing fathers.
That's true.
Then you got the fathers like in, let's say, Sugar Hill. He was a junkie. With Wesley Snipes. So you do have some fathers that you can where they were absent and come back when the person's famous and say, hey,
remember me?
Okay.
That's my son.
Pursuit of Happiness, though.
Ooh,
that was a good one.
That was a powerful father that just went through everything to make you cry.
Who cried in that movie?
I absolutely cried.
I cried.
I cried.
That's the only movie that I can watch 10 times and cry every 10 times.
Oh yeah, yep.
E.T. It took me 2 times. Boys in the Hood, it took me about 5.
I don't think I cried on E.T., but definitely Boys in the Hood.
I ain't cried.
I could do a list.
Pursuit of Happiness. I'm crying every single time I watch that.
When they did Blackula in.
Will you stop with the Blackula?
Wow, I would cry.
Will you stop with the Blackula? I can't even with you. I can't.
I cried one time in Star Is Born. So
yeah. It's a bunch of them out there. I can tell you, I cried. Maybe we'll have a movie discussion about emotional movies.
Okay, so now some other questions I had was actually for fathers.
Okay, I thought your fathers were going to call in. They didn't.
Yeah, they they didn't. I guess it's Father's Day and they were doing things for their fathers or their fathers also.
Or their children was doing things for them.
Right. Mm-hmm. What challenges do single fathers or stay-at-home fathers, because we don't mention those.
Oh, the stay-at-home dads.
Yeah, what do they face? What challenges do they face?
Well, stigma for one for the stay-at-home dads.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, how can you let your wife make all the money and you staying home?
But then that's weird.
That'd be the first thing that I would say.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
but they work just as hard.
They do. And just like we'll say that even a mother, stay-at-home mom
works,
is really like having 5 jobs.
Yeah, right? But then that's her job. But why would that be a stay-at-home dad?
Because
that would be his job.
Let's say the mother's making a whole bunch of money, and he's not making a lot of money, and they want to have
a parent home with the kids.
Right?
No
stay-at-home dad.
You would
never.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
That's so weird. No
I could
let's
do
go.
that
I would rather let's pay for the babysitter. Let's pay. But that's true. Like that's weird.
Would you be a stay-at-home dad?
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah,
you would.
Yeah.
Would you?
You look like
I wouldn't have any problem. Oh no, she did not say that. No, I would not have any problems with that.
I wouldn't be climbing trees and trying to fly with birds either. There's a lot of mothers that fly.
We're off track.
That's crazy.
I don't think.
I know you would never.
I would never do
that. See him doing that. And for real,
that's crazy.
I don't see my husband being able to do that.
Never. Not even your husband. I can never be with anybody that thinks it's normal to be a stay-at-home dad.
There's a lot of stay-at-home dads though.
Yes. I don't think it's a. I don't
so
think.
So you're gonna cook, clean?
Yeah, they do it all. They do the same thing the stay-at-home moms do.
So there's a difference. There's a difference. Like, okay, we both go out. You come back in. You're making the money still. Mm-hmm. You're coming back. Okay, you decide you want to cook. That's fine. But what? So I'm gonna come back, meet you at home. You're gonna do the kids' homework. You're gonna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you.
I don't want no wife.
Let me tell you. In my household, I cooked, I cleaned, I helped the kids with the homework, did all that. So to be a single dad, and you have the kids, or not even
not
single dad, let's
stay
say
home.
Stay-at-home dad, you're basically doing the same thing, except only
you're not going. So you're gonna. So that's the point. That's where disrespect comes in, because if I have to buy your shoes,
you wouldn't have to, because when you go to work, you're bringing the money home to daddy.
Oh, Jesus.
it can't work. That's what I'm saying. It can't work for me. So yeah, it can't work for me. Maybe some other people
can't with you.
Can't work for me.
Can we pick a word of the day? I say fathers be our word of the day.
Fathers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now let me tell you one last thing, because said, how do you want to be remembered by your children as a father? You know, I'm gonna say since
you're doing fine.
Yes, I would want my children to remember me as the enabler.
That enables them. You're more like the money pit.
No.
Money pit.
Okay, so did your ex-wife have to be the stern one and put her foot down, and were you the one just letting the kids do what they wanted to do?
No. All right, so we had a distinct way of handling certain things.
Okay.
Right. All right, so she was the boisterous one.
Okay.
She's gonna, and I'm the more or less. All right, hey, look, listen. This is how it is. Don't do that. Or whatever. I was the talker to because my kids were never really. They weren't bad kids at all.
Right.
But they were, when they got in trouble, it was always funny stuff. Like,
okay.
Who ate that? Who's messing in that chocolate cake? Right. Then, both my kids come up
without chocolate in their mouth.
No. So Corey had a chocolate ring around her neck. And she said, Junior. and then add on, and Daddy, he know better.
Wow.
Big old thick chocolate ring around her lips. So with stuff like that, that's how my kids, when they got in trouble, it's usually like funny stuff. My son got a hold of, he knew how to work the remote control to the television and ordered all these movies.
Adult movies?
No, not
or
adult
just
movies.
Regular
It was like
movies?
Yeah, regular movies. And we had I think it was like $300.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so my son, when it came to technology, he was very smart. He learned fast with stuff like that. And then even $600 in games on his phone.
Oh my gosh.
I was livid, but I'm gonna handle it differently. And where his mother would have been, exploded, lights out. So I want my kids to remember me as being understanding. And God like.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in on Father's
God
Day.
like my foot.
Thank you guys for tuning in, taking time out on this special Father's Day.
Very special Father's Day. And thank you, Dimitri, for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
And catch us with the next episode. Go to www.Hot Topix Podcast. It's TOPIX, and I spell it out because there's a hot topic.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's TOPIX.com. Please subscribe, share, like, and click that events button, and you can see the some of the events that we have coming up as far as podcast recordings. If you want to jump in there and participate, you're welcome. So, I forgot to tell Heinrich's thing. Let me this last one. I'm sorry. He wanted to put his thing in for the fathers. He said about his father. Let's see, where is it?
You're so special.
He said, "May my father rest in peace."
Oh wow, he's dead.
As many others can say, I've learned a lot about my dad, good and bad. And I wish he was still there so I could learn more from him. Aww. So, yeah. And then we did the poll about if fathers are underappreciated, and it was 100% yes, they were underappreciated. So. But thank you guys, and tune in to the next one.
Thank you, family, for listening to the latest episode of Hot Topics. As usual, listen, like, share, subscribe. Ta.